Welcome to Episode 5, the finale of the Change Management series. If you've been with me through the whole journey, awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, this is the one that ties it all together. Because everything we've built can still regress. And the leaders who know how to lock in change are the ones whose transformations actually last. Today, reinforcement. The R in ADKAR. Here's a statistic that stops most executives cold. Roughly 40% of changes regress within 12 months of launch. 4 in 10. You launched it, you trained, people adopted, and somewhere between month 6 and month 12, it quietly unravels. People drift back, old habits return, processes evolve back to how they always were, and the investment, the budget, the time, the political capital, disappears. The reason isn't that people are lazy, or that the change was wrong. It's that without reinforcement, change unravels by default. Reinforcement is the step that stops this. And if you skip it, everything before it was temporary. 4 things in the next 15 minutes. First, why change regresses, the specific forces that pull every transformation backwards. Second, what reinforcement really is, not a victory lap, but an active system that holds change in place. Third, 7 reinforcement practices that turn a temporary project into a permanent capability. And fourth, how to measure whether the change actually stuck. 1 year later, not 1 week later. Quick reminder of where we are in ADKAR. Awareness built understanding, desire built commitment, knowledge built know-how, ability built capability. Today is reinforcement, the step that turns all of that into permanence. And honestly, this is the one where more change programs quietly die than any other. Because most organizations treat launch as the finish line. It isn't. Launch is mile 5 of a marathon. Today's episode is about the rest of the race. So what is reinforcement exactly? Prosci defines it as the actions and mechanisms that sustain the change over time. 3 things are true about it. First, it's active, not passive. You don't wait for change to stick. You actively hold it in place. Second, it's a system, not an event. A launch party reinforces nothing. A monthly rhythm reinforces everything. And third, it lasts longer than you think. Plan for 12 to 18 months of reinforcement, not 12 to 18 days. This is the part that trips up almost every organization. They build a beautiful 6-month change program, and they allocate 6 weeks of reinforcement. That's backwards. Part 1. Why change regresses. Change doesn't regress by accident. There are specific forces pulling it back. Know them, or you'll be surprised by them. 5 forces pull every change backwards. Force 1. Habit gravity. Old routines are faster. The brain genuinely prefers what it already knows. This is not a character flaw, it's neuroscience. Force 2. Leader attention drift. Once a change launches, sponsors move on to the next thing. Teams notice, and they take the signal. Force 3. New joiners inherit old ways. People onboard into whatever the team actually does, not whatever the memo said. 6 months of new hires can quietly undo a launch. Force 4. System decay. Tools break, integrations fail, workarounds appear, and the old way returns by default. And Force 5, competing priorities. The next big initiative launches. Attention and resources shift. Here's the insight. Regression is not a people problem. It's a system problem. People drift because nothing holds them in place. Reinforcement is that system. Here's the shape of an unreinforced change. I'll bet you've seen this curve before. Phase 1, launch. Energy is high, everyone's paying attention, early adopters are excited. Phase 2, peak. Usage climbs, dashboards look great, leaders declare victory. Phase 3, drift. This is where it starts. Attention fades. The sponsor moves on. Usage plateaus. And Phase 4, revert. 6 to 12 months in, the old way is quietly back. Watch for the warning signs. Adoption dashboards flattening or dropping. Temporary workarounds becoming permanent. Training requests disappearing because nobody's using it anymore. The sponsor stops mentioning it in all hands. And new hires learning the old way by watching their peers. Any one of these is a yellow flag. 3 or more is a red one. Part 2. 7 Reinforcement Practices. What turns a successful launch into a permanent capability. Practice 1. Celebrate publicly, specifically and often. There's an old management principle that's as true today as it ever was. What gets celebrated gets repeated. Recognition is the cheapest, highest leverage reinforcement tool you have. Use it deliberately. 3 rules. Be specific, not great work on the rollout. Try you trained 40 people on the new process in 3 weeks. Specifics prove you were paying attention. Be public. Recognition at a team meeting beats a private email 10 to 1. Because others see what gets noticed, and they know to do the same thing. And be frequent. 1 annual awards ceremony reinforces nothing. A weekly shout-out in stand-up compounds into culture. Practice 2. Bake the change into your systems. If it's optional, it's temporary. Systems enforce what willpower cannot, and you cannot run an organization on willpower. Where to embed it. Performance reviews. Add the new behavior as a rated item, not just an aspirational goal. If it's not being evaluated, it's not really expected. Onboarding. Teach new hires the new way on day 1. No exceptions. Every new hire who learns the old way first is a small act of regression. Job descriptions. Update them so the new skill is a hiring criterion. This signals that this is the future, not a temporary program. And standard operating procedures. Rewrite the playbook and actually delete the old one. Don't just archive it. People find archives. Practice 3. Measure visibly, publicly, always. What you measure, people optimize for. What you stop measuring, they stop doing. It really is that direct. But here's the key. Publish the metric where people actually work. Not in a steering committee deck nobody reads. Not in a quarterly business review with 4 executives. Put it on the team dashboard. In the monthly all hands. In the Slack channel where work happens. Where the metric lives, the behavior follows. What to track long term. Usage metrics. Are the new tools and processes still being used 6 months on? Behavior metrics. Can you actually see the new behavior in how people work? Outcome metrics. Are the promised business results still showing up? And sentiment pulses. Do people still believe in it, or has the story faded? All 4, not just the one that's easiest to automate. Practice 4. Don't let sponsors walk away. There's a line from Prosci's research I come back to constantly. The day the sponsor stops mentioning the change is the day the change starts dying. Sponsors naturally drift. They have new initiatives. They have other fires. Your job as a change leader is to keep them tethered to this one. 4 ways. A monthly 1-page update. 2 wins, 1 risk, 1 specific action you need from them. Short enough, they'll actually read it. Include them in milestone moments, 6 months, 12 months. Make them present when the data lands. Give them stories to tell. Specific wins they can reference in their own all hands because they don't want to talk about abstractions. And track their visible mentions. Count the times they bring it up publicly. If that number drops, your change is losing its anchor. Practice 5. Run quarterly drift audits. Regression starts quietly. It's not a failure on launch day. It's a slow fade over months. A deliberate audit surfaces it while you can still fix it. Run 1 every 90 days for 18 months post-launch. 4 things to check. Spot check the data. Compare usage today against month 3. Is the curve dropping? Interview a sample. 10 randomly picked users and ask them, describe your typical week. Listen for whether the new way appears naturally in how they talk about their work. Walk the floor. Actually go observe. Are people doing it or talking about doing it? Those are different. And check what gets rewarded. Is the new way still in performance conversations, or has it quietly vanished? 4 checks, 1 morning a quarter, enormous return. Practice 6. Keep the story alive. Stories don't end at launch. They get richer. The best post-launch stories aren't about launch. They're about the person who saved 5 hours last week using the new way, or the team that hit a new metric nobody thought possible. 4 types of sustaining stories. The skeptic who converted, I was against this. Here's what changed my mind. These are gold, because skepticism is the resistance everyone feels but few admit. The measurable win, our team cut reporting time by 60%. Specific numbers make it real. The unexpected benefit. We didn't plan for this, but here's what happened. These stories signal the change is generative, not just compliant. And the new joiner's view. I started last month. Here's how obvious the new way is. Fresh eyes validate what insiders take for granted. Tell these stories quarterly, at minimum. Not once, not at launch. Always. Practice 7. And this is the one most organizations resist the most. Close the door on the old way. As long as the old way exists, a portion of your organization will quietly use it. This is not a moral failure, it's human nature. Familiarity is faster than novelty. Here's how programs get stuck. The old tool stays for transition. Old reports still get run in parallel. Legacy processes remain for edge cases. Old dashboards stay up for reference. All of these sound reasonable. All of them are slow leaks. Here's how programs actually land. The old tool is sunset with a clear date. Legacy reports are shut off. The old process is decommissioned. And workarounds are closed, not tolerated. Retiring the old way feels harsh. Leaving it open feels kind. But the kind version is what lets change die quietly while everyone congratulates themselves on a smooth transition. Part 3. Measuring what lasts. How to know. 1 year later. Whether the change actually stuck. Here's the rhythm I recommend for every change program. 3 checkpoints, 30 days, 90 days, and 365 days. Each one asks a fundamentally different question. At 30 days, the question is, did it land? Are people using the new way at all? Initial adoption data tells you this. At 90 days, the question shifts. Is it holding? Has usage plateaued, or is it dropping? This is where the first signs of drift emerge. And if you catch them here, you can fix them. By the time you see them at month 9, you're doing recovery, not reinforcement. And at 365 days, the question becomes, did it stick? 1 year in, is the new way just how things are done now? Or does it feel like a program people are still obeying? The goal is invisibility. The change has become the new default, and nobody talks about it as the change anymore. That's when you've won. 5 mistakes that let change regress. Avoid everyone. 1. Calling done at launch. Launch day is mile 5 of a marathon, not the finish line. The urge to declare victory is strong. Resist it. 2. Moving the sponsor to the next thing. Sponsors need to stay visible on this change for 12 full months. If your sponsor has rolled onto 3 other initiatives by month 2, your change is already losing air. 3. Leaving the old way running. As long as both paths exist, some people will take the old one. Always. 4. Stopping the story. No new wins, no new case studies, no new voices. Silence kills momentum faster than bad news. And 5. Not measuring long enough. A 30-day adoption win means nothing if you don't check again at 180 days. Measure past the point where it's interesting. Here's your reinforcement checklist. Before you consider the change complete, run through this. Is recognition specific, public, and ongoing? Is the new behavior embedded in performance reviews? Are usage and outcomes measured monthly? Do the metrics live where people work, not in decks? Is the sponsor still visibly engaged at the 6-month mark? Are quarterly drift audits actually scheduled in the calendar? Are new wins and stories still flowing post-launch? And has the old way been actively retired, not just left alongside? If any of these is no, the change is at risk of quietly regressing. Go fix the missing piece before you do anything else. Let's step back. 5 episodes, 1 framework. Awareness built understanding, the why. Desire built commitment, the want. Knowledge built know-how, the how. Ability built capability, the can. and reinforcement builds permanence, the will last. Skip any one of these and everything before it becomes temporary. That's not a metaphor. It's the operational reality of every change program that has ever failed, and almost everyone that has ever succeeded. If you remember nothing else from this series, remember this. Change succeeds one person at a time and lasts one system at a time. Let me close with a vignette that mirrors the one we ended episode 4 with. Same organization, same AI rollout. But now, 2 years later. The new way is just how work is done. New hires never learned the old way. Nobody talks about the change anymore, because it isn't a change, it's just how things work. What did they do differently? 4 things. Monthly usage reviews for 18 months, not a one-time metric, a standing rhythm. The old tool was shut off at month 6. Not tolerated, not transitioned, just retired. Stories told quarterly, not just at launch. New wins surfaced every 3 months, publicly. And the new skill became a rated expectation in performance reviews. 4 systemic changes. 1 invisible transformation. That's what reinforcement does. It doesn't feel heroic, it just works. 3 things to take away. First, launch is the beginning, not the end. Change regresses by default. Reinforcement is the active system that keeps it from sliding backwards, and that system takes 12 to 18 months, not weeks. Second, systems beat willpower. Bake the new way into reviews, onboarding, measurement, and processes. If it only lives in people's intentions, it's already fading. And third, close the door on the old way. As long as the legacy path exists, a portion of your team will quietly use it. Retire it, don't archive it. And that's the end of the series. 5 episodes, 1 framework, 1 arc, from understanding all the way to permanence. Now go build change that lasts. Thank you, genuinely, for watching the whole thing. If this series helped you, the best thing you can do is share it with someone who leads change in your organization. The full playlist is linked in the description. If you want more content like this, subscribe. I've got a lot more coming. And until then, go build better change.